What do you do when you work on rifle scopes at Nikon, one of the most respected brands in sporting optics, and they decide to get out of the rifle scope business? Well, you could go work for one of their competitors, or you could start your own company. This is the Tract Toric Ultra HD 4 to 25 power by 50mm rifle scope. One of the newest scopes from Tract, a company started by two ex-Nikon guys. We're going to take it out of the box, see what you get, and then take it out to the range to test it out on this episode of Moondog Industries. This is a Tract Optics Toric 4 to 25 by 50 rifle scope. And just want to take a moment to see what the packaging is like. And I know some of you out there don't particularly care what the packaging is on a product, but as a trained graphic designer, I appreciate it when it is nicely designed. Rather than have you go through the tedium of watching me go through the contents of this box, why don't I just show you the contents of this box? There you go. Alright, this is the Tract Toric, and we'll take a look at this in greater detail now. And the first thing that strikes me, of course, when you take this out is just the color. It is this gunmetal or titanium gray, which is a little different than every other scope that's out there, at least most other scopes out there. It is a nice choice of colors here. And the other thing that, of course, is very striking is the very tall elevation turret on there. This is for those who are really into long distance, so you can clearly see all of your markings and be able to adjust it easily, as well as to house the zero stop system on there. So it's a little unusual having for most scopes, except for some specialty scopes, very few of them have turrets that tall. The other thing that struck me immediately is the fact that it has very basic, simple lens caps, not flip up, not a broad, just plain simple plastic lens caps. Not a huge fan from a practical standpoint, because these are easily lost, but of course a lot of people don't like lens caps at all, because they just slow you down and get in the way. But yeah, kind of a strange choice. I mean, maybe it's a cost-saving measure. I don't know, but it doesn't cost that much more to put flip-up caps for those who like that convenience. Anyway, it also does come threaded for the sunshade, and does come with a matching sunshade on the front. And it also comes with a CR2032 battery, and that fits into the turret cap here that houses our parallax focus as well. And we'll take a look at the illumination when we get to the range, but I can immediately see that it has off settings in between, all the way up to 10 brightness settings, from 1 to 10, and off in between. So that's a feature that you want to have in a lot of higher end scopes. And our parallax wheel, that turns very smoothly, down to 15 yards, all the way up to infinity, 1,000 yards and infinity. So that is just very butter smooth. And let's just hear this turret here. Oh, and interestingly, it is very smooth just lifting this up. It's loud. It's not the loudest turret I've ever heard, but it's plenty loud. It's almost soft in its quality. For those of you who like to have very quiet turrets because you're hunting, though I would not want a turret this tall for hunting, but for those of you who like quieter turrets over louder ones for scaring off game, not that that's a concern of mine, but yeah. And I should point out, both of these are very tactile positive. Again, not the most tactile positive I've ever felt, but definitely clear. You can definitely feel the detents in every one of these clicks. And no slop at all in either. And once you push it down, it does lock Oops, I did push that one down. There we go. Solid. And they are resettable with the, I believe it's 2.5mm Allen keys it comes with. So you can unscrew that, pop it off, reset your turret, as well as for the elevation, add the zero stop. Now let's take a look at this. Oh, this is very smooth. Don't hear a thing other than maybe a little bit of pucker at the very end from the lube that's in there.
Phrasing.
And this is a rubberized end on the eyepiece. This is also smooth. Wow. Very nice. And let's just take an overall look again at this scope. We'll be taking this out to the range to try it out, and I'll be testing out the zero stop. I'm not going to install it because it gets in the way when I do the turret testing at the range, but if you want to see how to install the zero stop on this, I'll make another video just for that. So look for a link in this video's description, as well as just go to my website at moondogindustries.com or my channel at Moondog Industries, and you can find the zero stop install video. So let's get out to the range and test out this beautiful bad boy. All right, we are looking at the peak of Mount Davidson through the scope at its lowest power of 4, and this gives us our best overall image through the glass in terms of color, contrast, and detail. And you can just compare the color of the sky outside of the glass to that inside of the glass to get a sense of any sort of color shift, as well as any loss in contrast. So as we bring this up to its maximum power of 25, we can get a better idea of what the image looks like now that we're bending the light to a greater degree. Now, that white object just to the right and a little bit above of the center crosshairs there, that is a trail marker sign at the top of Mount Davidson. It's about a 36 inch sign atop a 8-foot pole, but that gives you a good proxy for the clarity through the glass of what you would see of a steel target at this distance. And you can also note how the reticle has changed because this is a first focal plane scope. Hey, Moondog here. We are at the Santa Clara Field Sports Park, and while we're setting up over at the 100-yard benches, I'd just like to ask you to please hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell while you're at it. It really does improve the AI, the algorithm, chances of suggesting this video to other folks who haven't seen it. Folks who have an interest in shooting sports, like you. So, thanks for doing that. All right, we are looking its lowest power of 4, and let's take a look at its range of adjustments. Let's start off here. Elevation. Wow, this goes on for days. All right. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, let's check out our windage. That's a pretty fair amount as well. All right, let's zoom in to its maximum of 25 power. Okay, let's do our box test. All right, do a full rotation. Full rotation. Full rotation back. Full rotation back. All right. Now let's do a turret abuse test here. Now this particular test is called the nipple twister, and it was coined and invented by my buddy Cyclops Joe for his scope review channel. And we're going to be twisting and abusing these turrets more than a typical shooter would in probably a given year. But we're going to see after dialing it back to its 0 point on the dial if it returns back to its original starting location. Pretty much on back where we are, so that's good. Alright, I'm going to move the reticle so we can more clearly see the two reference targets at the bottom of this board. We're going to use them to judge the overall clarity and resolution of our image, and I'm going to freeze frame here so we're not distracted by heat shimmer or other shooters kicking up dust. Okay, when looking through a scope it can be a little subjective, but we're going to try our best here. The first thing I notice about the image is that it is equally as sharp from the center out to the outer edge. There's no distortion at the outer edge. There's a little bit of chromatic aberration. I can see just a bare hint of a purple fringe right where the white of the board meets the black of the shadow that's cast from the board to the backing. The eye relief is pretty good at almost 4 inches, and the eye box is okay. And not in a bad way, it's just unremarkable. It's not particularly generous, nor is it particularly heinous. It's just average. I'm really struggling to find any faults here. The image is very bright, clear, and detailed. You can really tell this is shot glass just by looking through it and comparing it to other scopes. For example, in the bottom left target, it's easy to see the shots on the reactive sticker target in the center of that, even with a cheap scope. But you can also make out all 3 bullet holes on the paper below that sticker target. For a lot of scopes, it's really hard to see 22 caliber holes on paper at 100 yards. Now for a more objective measure, let's take a look at the US Air Force optical resolution chart on the bottom right. I can make out both horizontal and vertical lines down to element 6 in group -1. And this is impressive because this is the kind of resolution you can get with a 60 power spotting scope. But let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of criteria you're using to judge the quality of a scope's glass. Leave me a comment, especially if you're one of those lucky folks out there with a Leupold Mark V, a Nightforce, Kalas, or a Zeiss, or whatever. Let's move on and take a look at the illumination. We are at 1 off, 2 off, 3 off, 4 off, 5 off, 6 off, 8 off, 9 off. Quite bright. Wow, that is Christmas tree bright. Speaking of Christmas tree, let's just pull back and take a look at how much Christmas tree is illuminated there. Wow, that's like Texas megachurch level Christmas tree illumination. I'm going to freeze frame it here for a minute just to talk about this reticle. Now, for you hunters out there, this scope may not be your cup of tea because this reticle is really fine, and even here, fully illuminated, I think you're going to have a bit of a challenge making out your crosshairs at low power to get a quick shot off in the woods, because just to make out this reticle against a cluttered background is going to be a bit of a challenge. Now, for my uses, doing precision shooting at 100 yards, this is perfect. And for you ELR shooters, this Christmas tree just goes on and on. But should the entire Christmas tree be illuminated? I don't know, it's kind of subjective. Let me know what you think. So that's the Tract Toric, and I want to thank Tract for sending this out for me to test and evaluate. It's not often I get a chance to really spend time, get hands-on with a high-end scope, and by high-end, I mean scopes that cost over $1,000. For most of us, that's more scope than we really need. But in the realm of high-end scopes, there are scopes that start at $3,000 and go up from there. Now, if you are lucky enough to have the means and the budget for that sort of scope, I would actually consider checking out a Toric as well. I think you'll find that it compares very favorably to those really expensive scopes for a fraction of their price. But, you know, that's my opinion. Hopefully this video helped you form yours. And if it did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to this channel if you like my reviews. And hit that notification bell and you'll be notified when I post my next video. And you can find the rest of my videos at moondogindustries.com. Thanks again for watching. You be safe out there. Moondog, out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.